Hello, everybody, and welcome to a No Nonsense podcast. Bit of a different one this week. Didn't get to it on Monday or Tuesday. Didn't quite get to it. Not much happened though. Just the end of one of the greatest footballers of all time. He's up there. He's up there. Top 100. He's top 100.
I was away on Monday and Tuesday, so we couldn't do a regular episode, which meant we missed out on. I was at a wedding. Before we get into what this preview is about, I was at a wedding, and so I was just watching the United game through score on my phone.
Yeah,
and it was like keeping up with I can only compare it to like the war in Ukraine when that happened, where I check every few minutes and go, "Whoa, that's another." It was like watching a tragic event happen on my phone because in live time.
Damn, dude, that's not cool. You can't be saying that, man. That's wasn't that bad. It's just Michael Lise. Christ, it wasn't the Russian army.
Well, that's just like people were coming up to me in the wedding, like again, like the Bush meme.
Yeah,
put her head
there's
over
been a fourth
here,
goal in Crystal Palace.
It's 3-0.
There's been a third goal. Yeah.
This is a weird intro. We should probably do it again.
That's what this was like. Yeah. Look, yeah, we missed it, but the main story is that Casemiro has been finished by Jamie Carragher mainly. Now, usually this would kind of people like, oh, talk about your own club. No Premier League medals. There's a bit of that, but the large part of people are like, you know what? He's right. I'm like, all right. I don't know if he's right. This thing, I don't know if Carragher's right. He mentioned something that someone told him: leave football before it leaves you.
Yeah.
Maybe before you leave football, make sure that McTominay and Kobe Mainoo don't leave you in the middle of the field on your own to get run around. Because that's what's happened all year. I mean, look, I don't want to sit here and take shots at an 18-year-old, but the hype that man got having 2 good games against Liverpool, and now he's like Kobe Mainoo has been an absolute liability in midfield for Man United. And that's, look, again, I'm not trying to sit here and say it's Kobe Mainoo, the 18-year-old's fault. Really comes down to Ten Hag's fault. If he's looking at that and going, yeah, that's fine. And as you watch...
It's entertaining, as he said.
As you watch Casemiro's career go down the toilet because you refuse to set up any kind of a system that will protect, a man who never really had that much legs. I mean, he was good, but he was always also on one of the best teams in Spain, one of the 2 best teams with 2 other good midfielders, with other young midfielders off the bench throughout the game. You can't leave any player on their own like that and expect not to get run around. So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like, I don't think he's finished. I think if you had another couple of good players around that actually helped the midfield and worked as a team in midfield, I think he'd have another year or 2 in him. To say that he has 3 games left at this level and then MLS or Saudi, I'm serious. It's like, it's just massively disrespectful. Do you know what I mean? People use that word a lot, but I think it really is disrespectful to the man that say that he's finished at this level because, he's got no one else around him in midfield.
Do you think if he was playing for free, no wages, do you think, say, a Brighton or a Sheffield was going to go, no thanks, they don't need him? He's a totally solid midfielder he's been left behind by the tactics of the team. And also he's lost a step or 2. But he's lost a step. He's not dead.
Of course, he's lost a little bit of pace and a step or 2 or whatever. But I think it's the tactics. This most attacking team, it doesn't suit the kind of defensive midfielder to do this on your own. It's not really fair to anybody. I honestly, you put who's the other best defensive midfielder in the world? Ugarte, something like that. Someone like Ugarte in the middle there, well, he would have a chance. But you put Declan Rice in that Man United midfield. Same thing. He's getting run around. He's on fraud watch. He was overhyped at West Ham. English player. He's not good enough. He's not fast enough. It's like you put Kante in there. Honest to God, Kante at his best. There's too much space. You're getting run around. He'd probably do a better job. I'm not saying that Casemiro is the best in the world to do it, but anybody in there is getting passed around, getting run around. It's just it's unfair of him. And then for massive Liverpool fan Jamie Carragher to come out and say he's got 3 more games this level and then he should know himself. Out of respect for the club, respect for himself, respect for the game, he should leave and never come back. I just think it's it's totally unfair, you know? And then for all the Man United fans to agree with him because they hate the team at the moment, it's just like, wow, like you're spoiled really. Something like that.
Yeah, it's so reactive. And it's like, again, he was in that game, he was playing centre back alongside Wan-Bissaka, who's playing left back. Not a left back.
No.
I don't think he has a left foot. Then on the other side of it, I think it was Johnny Evans, 34, 35. And then beside him was Dallo, who is United's star player this season, I would say. But like, what the hell is Casemiro supposed to do? That's a fucking shocking backline. And then also, he's halfway up the pitch the whole game. And I don't think it's because he's thick. I think it's because he's being told to do this.
Yeah, I honestly, I think of all the games he's played this year and played badly, and this was the most unfair to say, this is the straw that's broke the camel's back.
Because he fell over. That was what it was.
This is the one thing that should be an outlier. Like, oh, but you can't hold this one against them. Whatever about the rest of the games, but this one was just, you know, I kind of summed up another game that summed up their season. You know, nobody fits, no tactics, no idea how to win a game. You know, but to single out Casemiro, I just thought like that is Ten Hag's dream, honestly. Like no one's talking about me, you know, they're talking about, you know, one of the good players I have.
Literally another game where they've no midfield. They're torn open every attack by Crystal Palace. And after the game, people are like, should have kept De Gea. I don't know about this one, NFL. It's like, well, what about him?
Yeah, well, no, it was at fault for a couple, like some of the goals.
He had a shot.
Where was he doing? Like, I mean, it was just like he was pretending to save it sometimes. He was like getting really wide, but like not really getting to where the ball was. It was just the one where it went kind of in the middle of the goal where he jumped across, he jumped too far, jumped too early. That was that's. I'm not a goalie, but that seems like a basic. That seems like, you know, you gotta judge. It wasn't deflected, you know, it just went in. Anyway, yeah, it's a classic thing. We're talking about a team who's now what's 8th.
Well, now it is becoming a news story as they're sliding down the table to their worst ever Premier League finish, I'd say.
They're behind Chelsea. That's insane.
Yeah.
They're behind the team formerly known as Chelsea. Cole Palmer FC are now ahead of them. I mean, that's
what we'd give to be Cole Palmer FC.
And then other than that, City won, Arsenal won, Liverpool won.
Yeah,
City will probably win the whole thing. A game in hand against Fulham or Tottenham, I think it is. So
Nottingham Forest again, maybe.
Yeah. Nottingham Forest, actually, they lost their appeal. See that?
Confirmed, yeah.
They're still safe, though, I think. All's well that ends well. The system works. That's a quick little rundown of the Premier League last weekend. Just in case you thought we missed a big story. That wasn't the case, you know. Just
No, you're not allowed to say that. We didn't. We were here.
Nursing various hangovers. But no, it's okay. We got the Champions League. And if you're an ultra, you get to listen to the whole thing. If you're not an ultra, you get to listen to a little bit of a snippet.
A little
taste. We talked about the 2 semi-finals and Leverkusen's unbelievable run. As well as we give kind of a tutorial on how to get tickets for the Europa League final as well. So it's all in there. Make sure to get on board the Ultras. $4.50 a month. Link in the description of this episode. If you're not sure yet, you're like, I don't know. Let me hear some first. Well, listen to this. How about that? Hello, everybody, and welcome to another No Nonsense Podcast episode on the Champions League. Probably, honestly, it might go down as the best Champions League ever. We joked about it being like, oh, this is the worst. Like, oh, maybe this is the best. It actually might be one of the more memorable ones because the knockout stages beyond, like, even from the last 16, I think. Or was last 16 boring? I don't remember. It's been so good, I don't remember when it was boring. You know?
Yeah, that's a good sign. That's like this podcast.
Yeah, I don't even remember when there was bad. You know, it's so good now. Yeah, no, it was another unbelievable week of drama and goals and unbelievable performances and refereeing decisions. It had everything in it that, as a neutral, is just so enjoyable to watch. I'm sure if you're a Bayern Munich fan or a PSG fan who kept watching the ball hit the post, you're crestfallen. You're absolutely crestfallen. Yeah, but for me, as a yeah, if your team's in this, you have no fond memories. It's like that was actually probably one of the worst years. Actually, yeah, I think that's when the depression really started. That's when it really went downhill. That Champions League episode. No, I mean we talked about PSG at the start of the year. I saw them. I thought they're changing it up. They're doing what they should do. 1 star, in Mbappe. This was going to be Mbappe's team, and the rest are going to be kind of people working around him. I thought that based on Argentina and Messi. Messi can be the one who doesn't track back. Everyone else has to do like 1 and a bit more percent. The Big Sam Allardyce method of if everybody puts in 2 extra percent.
Yeah.
So what was that?
You add them all up.
Equation again. 11. All we need is 3 more points. So if everybody puts in 2 more percent, that equals.
Yeah, I think he said that makes 102% or something. It was something along those lines.
He broke down the points, wasn't it? We need 4 points to stay up. If we give 110% in the last 4 games. Maybe there's a clip we played there, I don't know. But that was my thought process there with PSG, that they were just going to do an Argentina on the Champions League. And they almost did. Easy side of the draw or not. They got to the semi-final and were, 2 goals short at the end, I suppose. But I said that they would bring this game back to PSG and they'd score goals,
No chance it'll be a shutout 1-0.
Well, I said there's no chance to be a shutout 1-0 for PSG. I never even considered the thought of Dortmund going there and keeping.
Yeah, not a possibility even.
I thought PSG would win, but I thought they'll have to do it by 2 goals or else they'll go to penalties. And if they do that, then they'll concede. I didn't think they wouldn't score. I honestly didn't think they wouldn't score. I guess I could thank the woodwork for that. They hit the woodwork, was it 6 or 7 times over the 2 legs?
Yeah, 6 times over the 2 legs. I think it was 4 in that one game. That was the thing as well. This didn't feel like the usual, PSG are falling apart out there. They really gave it a good go. It just wasn't their day.
The last 25 minutes was just parking the big yellow bus and PSG trying to, get in, and they couldn't get past that big yellow bus. This is not their game either. They want to hit you on the break. They have so much pace, so much unbelievable pace and quality. They don't want to be sitting in front of you trying to break anything down. That is not their game. That's not what they want to do. So it was kind of inevitable in a way, but as the game was happening, you're thinking, there's no way Dortmund are going to hang on here. Because it's not really their game either. They're not like a Stoke type team to like just park it and ride it out. So it was interesting to see 2 teams who really were playing tactics out of their comfort zone and seeing who would break first. The big story, I guess, for most people would be about Mbappe. But for me, Will, it's Mats Hummels. And he's trying desperately to get out of my tragic 11 so that he will win the Champions League.
I tell you, that was the turning point for Dortmund season. As soon as we mentioned that, I'm seeing nothing but Mats Hummels every week in the Champions League.
I saw a quote, I'm not sure if it's fake or not, from Mats Hummels, where he said, everyone wanted to play us. Everyone told the draw wanted to play us. Well, we're being real nice and we're staying in the competition as long as possible so as many people can play us as possible. I don't know if that's real or not. It feels like kind of Mats Hummels kind of a quote. But yeah, he's like everything, taking this in his stride. Seems very calm. Seems very kind of in control of the whole thing. It would be a huge opportunity for him, I guess. As we mentioned, he's kind of almost been there twice. Got the final once, of course, in 2013. I said when I was doing the team that will never win the competitions that they were robbed of, he'll probably never get there again. This, you'd imagine, will probably be the last time that he will get there. But for all those Dortmund players, like how many times do players get to Champions League finals? Unless you're part of that 5-in-a-row Real Madrid team, or was it 5 in a row or 3 in a row? 4 in a row?
3 in a row, but it feels like every year.
3 in a row, and then they won 5. I think Casemiro won 5 overall. As it Kroos and Modric, and possibly someone else, maybe Marcelo. I don't know, but they won 5 overall, but they won 3 in a row. Like they obviously got a lot of finals, but like City, their dominance over the last number of years, they've got the 2 finals and won 1. It's like someone like Hummels and especially Royce, who's come off the bench these days. They, it's a safe bet that they won't get another one. But even someone who's like young and upcoming, like Adeyemi, is like, this could be it. This could be like the one chance you get at the Champions League, and if you don't win it, you never will. So they should all be thinking in that kind of boat. Like this is a huge chance for every team in this. So
just because especially to get there with a team like Dortmund who have the support and they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
For a lot of those players, you never know when you're going to end up at an underperforming Premier League team on big money, and then you'll never even have a sniff of it again. So this really is a big opportunity where, I don't know, it's just like the stars have all aligned to like this nice Champions League where it's like, I kind of like all these teams as it's going on. Like all the baddies are falling away.
Yeah, as the Dortmund team progressed through the competition, the level of failing Premier League side that they might go to is increasing. Like
it increases. The looming cloud.
Like if they'd gone out against Atletico Madrid, you could have seen someone going to West Ham. But now when they get to the semi-final, it's like, okay, I could see it maybe like, maybe Tottenham, maybe Arsenal,
Yeah, Chelsea are always looking.
Now in the final, it's like, he's going to Man United,
Guaranteed, lock it in.
But like, that's the thing. You could go there for a couple of years, doesn't work out. You fall out with the new manager, and then you go back to Stuttgart. And it's like, you wasted the kind of bulk of your career there. Like, I remember it was in the Champions League final with Dortmund all those years ago. It's like,
when it was real football.
Because obviously it goes someone to double or triple your wages in the Premier League, but doesn't mean you'll get back there again. So I mean, yeah, I think someone like Hummels is probably thinking this is last chance, but they should all be thinking this could be. It's just a huge chance. It doesn't happen every year. It's so hard to get back to the final. Obviously, we mentioned City, but again, this year, like, what the hell was that? How do they lose that game against Real Madrid? But it just happens. Yeah, I don't know where PSG go from here, to be honest. I mean, they've won the league again, but the Champions League still eludes them.
An Mbappe-less PSG is not a very attractive club, I think, at the moment. I don't know, that for so long, that was their whole thing, is like, you get to play with Mbappe and Neymar, and we're going to win the league every year, and it's stars and money. But now they're obviously trying a new thing, which we were praising them for.
I was.
But now it just feels like, oof, I don't know, it could be a long road back for them to be regularly losing semi-finals in the Champions League. Treasure it while you have it.
Enjoy it, mate.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, people might say, Farmers League or whatever, and it's not the same competition, and no one watches the French League, whatever. But he has been scoring a lot of goals for them. You're now going to lose all those goals. It's not a guaranteed win of the League anymore. It might be the best thing that happens to the League for other teams in it. But I mean, like, it's not like, they'll still win the French League, obviously. It's like he was a huge part of them winning all those leagues in France. And when you take them away and you have, Gonzalo Ramos or whatever up front, who, again, I thought he's going to be the answer, but,
Him and Ugarte.
And Skriniar. Don't forget Skriniar, I don't think that it'll be an easy run. It depends who they get in this year. I don't know, maybe Darwin Núñez. I think he'd rip up the French League.
Darwin's having an interesting week where he, like a scorned girlfriend, he's deleted all pictures of him that have to do with Liverpool on all his social media. And he also, very funnily, blocked all of the Liverpool Twitter guys.
Yeah, PSG confirmed. That would be a smart move for them. He wouldn't be Mbappe's levels, but that might keep them on top of the league,
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of a disaster for PSG. They have won the Champions League, but then again, they had the World Cup in Qatar. I think that was probably the main aim, wasn't it? To get the whole kind of. It is very funny seeing Macron in the stands all the time at the PSG games. It's like you never see any other leader.
Shouldn't you be at the other club games as well?
Yeah, not just the country that you deal with other things. Who you supply other things for. No, it's probably fine for the owners, but like as PSG, the football club, I'm not sure where they're going. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
are they close to Champions League? They're kind of. It's mad because a few years ago you kind of would have put them at the same level as like the top teams because they were so good and they were so regularly in the top spots in the Champions League semi-finals, quarterfinals, but almost there. Now it feels like kind of the end, and it's like you're left with these players who probably wouldn't make a lot of the other good teams.
Yeah, like we said, we were praising them for their new squad building ways, but that made sense when it was like the pieces are all fitting around the star that you still have Mbappe. When he's gone, it's like, ooh, is this like a team of bit part players? That's never good.
Yeah, maybe they'll all step up now in his absence,
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I think the semi-finals when they were drawn, there was so many possibilities for funny. Let's start at the end. Periodically returning to the beginning, giving different characters perspective throughout,
It's like Pulp Fiction.
Last-ish minute of the game, was it? It wasn't quite last minute of the game, but it was very much towards the end. Bayern hit a hopeful long ball up top to Sané, and for whatever reason, the Ligt is also up there knocking around. It's that kind of end of the game. Like, put the centre backs forward, get Duffy forward. Maybe he's get a head on us, We're in like prime Duffy, Maguire, the Ligt time, like just fucking see what happens. Throw him up there. It gets knocked down. The Ligt pulls on us. They hadn't really stopped. The players that behind the action had stopped playing, but the players who were involved in the play had stopped. The goalie was absolutely bet, and then he pretended like he had stopped. He's like, oh no, it was over. That's
I was looking at him.
I was looking at a linesman. It's offside. It's offside. I mean, I could try and break down from what I remember, but CBS Sports actually had an expert, a rules expert, come on and explain it quite precisely and thoroughly. I think we should play that clip.
I'm going to kind of disagree with Jamie in the sense that it was only the assistant referee who got this incorrect. Unfortunately, there are 2 officiating errors that occurred here. And it's important to note that it is Sané who is the one that is the question of whether or not he was in an offside position and then interfere with the play. Here, he is not in an offside position. So we don't even have to get to the discussion about whether he interfered with play. But we have the first error by the assistant referee in raising that flag, which goes against the direction of holding that flag, especially we're in the attacking phase of play and it has not yet finished. And then we have the second error by the referee in accepting that recommendation by the assistant referee and blowing his whistle. Instead of saying, thank you, I see you, I'm going to hold my whistle until this play goes out. And this is very surprising. This isn't some of the best in Europe. This is actually would be considered the best in Europe, this Polish trio, having referee Champions League final, having just done the Men's World Cup final. It was a very surprising decision, both by the assistant referee and the referee, which goes to an oversight in detail and attention. At these critical moments, the game is not done until the whistle is finally blown at the end of this match. And unfortunately, this is one of 3 different incidents on this game where there was a overlook of detail from not just this, but prior to the VAR given goal. That was an offside decision on the field. That should not have occurred. And then the second ball on the field. So it was not a good day for the third team today.
Wow.
Yeah, broke down there in clinical detail by Christina Unkel of CBS Sports.
That point about them being the best refereeing trio, that to me seems like, okay, maybe the rules are the problem if the best referees in the world are like, do I put my flag up?
Yeah, although it did seem kind of obvious to not do that though. Like the ball simply...
That's like the main one that's one of the rules that's actually been adopted and everyone gets. Like, oh no, you don't put up the flag anymore. And most of the time it's really annoying because they're like, that's obviously offside.
Yeah. It's one that people complain about. It's like, oh, why are you letting it play on so long? We all saw it,
This is exactly why.
This is the reason why. It's like, it's the same thing before. Like, why can't we just get decisions fast? It's like, do you want it to be right? Not really. I just want to be done with. I'm sick of this now. It's like, do you actually like football? Do you like watching the game? Or like, they just rather it be fast than right. And this one, it's like, I'd rather the decisions were on a wrong offside as long as, it didn't happen, as long as, it didn't get pulled back. But I mean, this is the exact scenario. And, Tuchel after the game was obviously fuming about it. Made some kind of wild allegations once again, saying that if this was Real Madrid, it wouldn't have happened. I guess the exact thing did happen in the game where there was like, oh, was that offside for the Joslu goal? And they played on, there only was a flag or anything, but it's like, the exact example. It's like it's a borderline offside. He plays this and a goal. They check it afterwards and then they can celebrate. I think the Joslu one where he's behind the ball was played in the big screen.
Yeah, one of them was anyway, for sure.
But that was the right decision. So that was okay. But it was just strange that they decided to play it on the big screen and it was TNT were like, I thought there was a rule against this. You couldn't incite the crowd like this. And when the ref was going over, everyone was like surrounding me. He had to stop, like, everybody back off, get away from me. I'm watching the screen, like totally kind of pushing the line there of what the rules are meant to be. Obviously didn't make much odds in for the Real Madrid goals. Joslu to the rescue. A phrase I never thought I'd say, said Steve McManaman.
Yeah. This seems to happen like every season where it's an ex-Stoke player just rips it up, bursts onto the scene in Europe.
That's what everybody kept saying about this. And before the game as well, it was like, if Joslu and Choupo-Moting play, there'll be a Stoke player in like 7 of the last 8 semi-finals of the Champions League. Like it's like Shaqiri and Afellay and Bojan and a few others. And yeah, then of course he comes on. They both come on. And they comes like, both these players used to play for Stoke, Isn't that crazy, everybody? And then he scored 2 goals, and all anybody could focus on was how shit he was. It's like, this shit guy, this fucking shit player has scored 2 good goals in a game, and he's shit. Like, poor Justin, when he looks back at the reaction, I'm sure it's the same everywhere. It's like, oh God.
Didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I thought, I had a decent career. I've made the best of what I had. I was like, this guy shouldn't be here. Yeah, it was incredible. It was funny because it was just killer. And then who else did they bring on, Will? Did you notice who else did they bring on? Our boy Kim.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't reverse psychology.
Okay, you've got one more chance, Kim.
It wasn't reverse psychology. He just brought him up in front of the whole press and said, this guy, of all the sucks that ever sucked, this guy must be the suckiest suck, and then drops him. And then, crucial, they have, hey, Kim, yeah, you want to come on and play for me again? Like, this is the whole nature of sport. If you're going to do this to players, you're going to have to very soon turn to them and go, be it through injury or whatever, he's going to have to play for you again. Unless you're prepared to say, right, you're out of the team for the rest of the year and I can cover you. You can't be saying that kind of stuff. He brings them on, they concede 2 goals again. I mean, he nearly scored a header, but like, he can't be playing with all the confidence in the world. When they go to 1-0 down, he's not thinking, all right, I got this. Don't worry about this. It's only 1 goal.
Thinking, was I too greedy there?
All week, he's thinking, of that press conference where fucking came someone's pot of greed and puts 2 more goals in the net. Like it was a public tongue lashing. And then you go out and say, hey, do you want to come on and see this game out? I was like, I guess I could. I'm like confident all time low.
I'll do my best. I'm not very good.
I mean, I'm looking at Eric Dyer and Matthias de Ligt ahead of me. So, I mean, like Dyer is whatever, de Ligt he replaced de Ligt. He came in because Ligt wasn't any good. And now he's been replaced again. Like, I mean, that's got to be killer. You come in to replace a guy, and now actually you've played so bad, we're going back to him. And then this guy from Tottenham, I think. Yeah, no, he's never anything in his life.
I was thinking when they took off Kane, it's like, all right, bring on some defenders, short things up. But then they brought on Muller. It's like, what is Muller doing that Kane can't do here if in the next 10 minutes? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no way Kane's legs are that gone. And even if they are, just leave him up top. Let someone ping a ball to him.
Maybe, I guess Muller he's a striker, I guess, in a way, but he's much more industrious. And he was like doing a lot of tracking, pressing from the front. If kind of maybe a little bit ineffectual pressing, but he had a lot of legs, he had a lot of energy. He has like 50 minutes of like the old Muller, where he could like just run around and get in the end of it. But when he got that ball, he held it off perfectly. He won the ball, held it off perfectly. I think it was Diaz then like fell over and he was away. I was like, this is why I bring him on, vintage Muller. But then when his legs started moving, you can almost hear the creaking on the screen. I was like, that is laboured. Now he's always
winding up.
He's never been like a smooth, like deer-like runner. He always been kind of energy and effort, but like he kind of reminded me of Lewandowski when I saw him playing in Barcelona. I was like, that's not the Lewandowski I used to see.
Yeah.
He's still good. Obviously, he's still one of the best, but like you watch him like, oh no, he doesn't look loose. He doesn't look ready. And then that ball behind, it's like, oh God, that's just just so far off, Which if that was Kane, you imagine you would play that ball and then it goes in. So yeah, I don't know. Was it the Bernabeu screw job or was it lost on the line by Tuchel?
A little column A, a little column B.
Taking Kane off, because then it was like, look, it was going to go to penalties, and they'd taken off Kane and taken off Musiala as well. It's like, they were taking penalties. That seems a bit short-sighted. And then they go out and you have the whole Kim thing. I think this had been a disaster for Tuchel, this game in particular, because it hit his stock had kind of risen again. But like after this, it's like, bad man manager, loss on the line, complains about referees, conspiracy theorists. I mean, it doesn't look good,
Fell out with everyone on the way out, which he's done now at Chelsea and PSG before it as well. And I think Dortmund as well.
Wow, how about that? Probably one of the best episodes we've ever done, Will.
And you'll have to pay to find out if it was.
Yeah, if you're thinking, well, from the clip I heard it wasn't that good, well, you haven't heard the whole thing. So
we really turn it around in the second.
You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that unless you've heard the whole thing. That said, if you listen to this part, you probably think it is good. So now you're intrigued as to why it was so bad. I mean, so good. So either way, it just makes sense to subscribe.
Yep.
Sign up.
Confirm your suspicions. Was this a bad episode?
Yeah, one of those weeks, folks. Look, it happens to the best of us. Us, Neuer. You can make mistakes sometimes. It doesn't always have to work out, but you can look at our backlog as well if you sign up. So there's a lot of trebles and Champions League like episodes in there for us that we can stand over. So yeah, for everyone else, we have games this weekend. I mean, we're in the penultimate game week for the Premier League.
Yep, it's fast approaching the end.
Fast approaching. And of course, for the final of the Champions League, we're getting very close to that Euros, Will. Getting very close to that Euros. Looking forward to that. We're going to have kind of the team announcements. There'll be some snubs. Of course, there'll be some snubs. There'll be some arguments. Favourites announced by us. We'll do a whole preview of the Euros as well. Kind of our dark horses, our favourites. Interesting stories. There's always scandal. There's always like a manager who has fallen out of the FA but is still in charge, and his daughter's been kidnapped by some kind of gang. There's always some kind of side story.
He has to win the Euros or else they're going to kill his daughter. Usually,
it happens every year. Every year there's something like that. So we'll be covering all of that. Make sure you subscribe to get the full coverage. And until then, we will see you Monday or Tuesday for the next episode.
Back to our regular schedule.